Howdy, everyone. Tad Stevens on the Micro Success Secrets podcast, where we focus on business, psychology, and marketing and how you can use that in your business daily and long term. Today, I am fortunate to be talking with Paul Gerardis, who has been helping people with motivation, accountability, mental strength, and resilience for over 10 years. He's been the VP of an international multi-million-dollar company, successfully owned, operated, and sold a gym, has some amazing business successes and some spectacular losses, and has personally trained thousands of people to have motivation, accountability, mental strength, and resilience. His passion is to help people live longer, happier, healthier, more fulfilled lives, to learn how to be motivated, stay accountable, and build mental strength and resilience. Paul, how are you doing? And take a minute to introduce yourself. Let us know if we missed anything.
Thank you so much. Yes, look, that is exactly how I would like to be known for. And that's what I'm looking towards in my long-term goal, is to make sure that I was a person that added value and helped people live a more fulfilled life and build that mental strength and resilience, especially in years like we've had this year.
Yeah, timing is good for that right now. So today, what I wanted to talk about with you is basically how you got to where you are, some of the bumps and trials and tribulations that you had along the way, and hopefully how people could maybe take inspiration from that in their own journey, when what they can take away with. So what I usually like to start off with is, if you could do anything different in your career path that you're on right now, if you could do one thing different that you really wished you'd done it another way, do you have one thing that you would do different?
Great question, because you don't want to live a life of some regrets, right? You want to make sure that you're always learning, growing, and pushing forward towards what you want, what your goals are, and that you're failing fast and doing all the right things. But at the same time, if I had learned more about investing and saving, that would have been definitely something I would have been more disciplined at, and that not underestimating my value too. So those two things kind of come hand in hand, when you might be underestimating your value, and at the same time maybe you're not knowing what to do with those finances when you do start making a good living or creating some savings.
Okay. Excellent advice. I should have done the same. I didn't, but I should have.
I made some really good mistakes with money, right?
I know. And I mean, now I'm thankful that I made them and I learned from them. But at the time, they weren't so pleasant. Along the same lines, if you could look at your journey, and there's one super positive thing that happened where, everything, you look at everything that happened before it and everything that happened after it. Do you have a defining moment or something that's just super positive that you could share?
I think that one of the things that stood out is I started having, after you get married and then you start having kids, the unexpected challenges come up in life, right? And you provide for your family, your wife, your kids. And one of the things that I think that came out as a positive is that everything was figure-outable, right? Maybe that's not a word, but everything was figure-outable. Like, no matter how hard some of the challenges got, I was able to get through them and progress and learn from them. One of the biggest ones that kind of stood out to me when I think about this question is, we moved a small family to Australia, and that's where I'm from. And so we moved from America to Australia, and I didn't sort out some of the necessary immigration things that were required before I left. And that left me with, I didn't know. So they're calling and getting no response because I'm not here. And then they sent some letters, and we got some letters to the in-laws here in America. They took pictures of them and sent it to me and said, "You've got some stuff you might want to contact them about." You need to take care of this. And so I tried to get it sorted out at the US consulate in Australia. and they were not having it. So when this all went down, my wife was 6 months pregnant in Australia. We weren't having a success at that time. We had a 2-year-old daughter, and work wasn't going as well as we expected. And I didn't want to have to move back to America and sort it out and leave my wife to have a baby with my 2-year-old by herself, right? That was not an option. So we somewhat quickly, because we didn't want, her to become longer in her pregnancy, to get on a plane to come, 20 hours back to America, got back here. And the challenge was on then, because we had come back with nothing. And then we're about to have another child, and we have a 2-year-old. And knowing that through all the challenges that presented, and being able to get through that, knowing that for me, the positive thing was, whatever happens, we can figure it out and we can progress. So that was one of the biggest challenges that I've faced, and as a family and personally. And so knowing that I could turn that into a positive and work into a great future here in America, that was a good thing.
That was a good thing. Okay. So kind of along the same lines, and I'm sure you've run into this, or at least I believe you have. I do, especially when it relates to creative type activities. Whenever I'm creating a new program, copywriting, graphics, anything creative, I get stuck, and a lot of people do. And one of the questions I always ask is there anything that you can share that you've come across, tips, methods, techniques that you use to get unstuck?
Yeah. Look, I like this one, because it's all about what we've touched on a little bit, is progress and failing fast, and not being worried to fail, but at the same time, the concept of what's one thing, just one thing, because sometimes we get stuck and we're overloaded. What's one thing that I could do different? And what's maybe one thing I could stop doing? And there's always things that you can't always look at what's one thing I can change, but there might be something that's really holding you back. Maybe you're so distracted, you're just trying to do 5 things at once. Maybe it's a habit that you've got that is making you procrastinate in this next step. What is one thing you can stop doing? And what's one thing you can start doing? And from there, it can turn into a different approach. It might just turn out to that it's a whole different approach to what you're doing. So I found that that's worked really well. But the other thing about getting unstuck too is having some sort of positive mantra that you can act upon. And I had a whole nother set of circumstances that went down in part of the intro when you said spectacular losses. As part of that, in a previous time, I had this spectacular loss. And one of the things that got me through and got me out of being stuck was this positive mantra, and I acted on it, and I had to create it. It had to resonate with me. And it was, today is an amazing new gift, and incredible things will happen today. I had to, in my heart, believe it. I had to challenge where I was losing a business, and I had a wife in hospital, and I had the kids by myself, and I was losing the house, and everything in this other circumstance was happening. And I told the kids every day, when I woke them up, and I said, I love you, and today is an amazing new gift, and incredible things will happen today. And if I didn't do that, I couldn't see the positive. That was that thing that got me unstuck. And I said it so much that when I dropped off one of the kids at school, I had 2 daughters, and one of them's a fiery redhead. And I dropped off one at school, and I'm ready to say my positive mantra to her. And she turns back to me and says, I know, Dad, impossible things will happen today.
It's working.
She said it, and she said it different, right? She said not incredible things. She said impossible things, but it was in her head. And I was like, I've got to act. I've got to act on this. I was thinking outside the box. I was trying different things. I was really focusing on, I can make this happen. This is going to work no matter what's going down here. This can work. And then the last thing, sorry to add to this.
No, go ahead.
One more thing to it. accountability was key for me. So I call it a progress partner. I needed to see progress. I needed to have someone that was positive in my life that I could catch up with once a week and say, look, this is my goals for the week. This is the outcomes I'm looking for. This is my first steps and my second steps. And how did I do with that? How did you do with yours? And collaborate with somebody. And that's something that helped me as well. Those three things, like a positive mantra that you can act upon, that's going to keep you kind of out of the negative. A progress partner is what I like to call it. And that one thing that you can do different, that you can stop doing, and one thing that you can, do different. So
start doing. Okay.
Start doing. Yep.
No, those are awesome. In fact, I have my mantras right here on my daily list that I go through every morning, and I mark them off, go through and say them. And like you were saying, I think it's super important. Just having a mantra and saying it doesn't do it for me. Like you, I have to believe it. I have to read it, I have to feel it, and I have to believe it. And my attitude changes after I go through this every morning. And it's a pick me up for me. It really is.
Yeah.
So, okay. Last question, kind of related to everything is, and this is pretty standard question for a lot of, I guess, shows or philosophies or whatever. If you had to start over, what would you do? Knowing what you know now, and you were going to go in a certain direction, what would you do if you were just from scratch?
One of the spectacular losses was based on money alone. It was based on how can I achieve a certain amount of money or desired outcome from money. And this stuck with me, and I wish I had learned it earlier. And it was, I need to have an outward thinking leadership. I need to be outward thinking as far as, instead of looking at what I need, what I want, I should have said, what is it that the market wants? What is it that people needed to have self-care in their life? How can I motivate them? How can I help them with exercise? How can I help them? And I somewhat learned this with the gym. It was more about me trying to provide someone what they wanted. They wanted a social aspect, they wanted activity, and they wanted a healthier lifestyle.
Right.
And for me to start over, if you took everything away and we had to start over again, I would be definitely looking to what are the main concerns that people are having, and how do I solve that? And then where does that lie with me? Because it has to sit with me, right? It can't be everyone needs an accountant because they're struggling with their finances, but that doesn't sit with me because I'm not an accountant. It has to be within my range. So I'm looking towards what motivation do people need, what accountability do they need, what aspects of their life are in concern or trouble that I can help them with. And then the more I can do that, the more it will turn into something of a niche, and then I will focus on that and help those people.
Have you ever read or heard of Zig Ziglar here in the States?
I have heard of him. I love one of his quotes. One of his quotes that he said is that motivational. He says motivation. Someone told him that motivation doesn't last, and he said neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily.
I remember that one. But
that's one I remember straight from. It's funny you mentioned him.
Oh, that one's hilarious. But I got to read one of mine because it follows exactly what you just said. He said it, and it is basically. And I've reworded it so it fits me. But I will get everything I want, helping enough people get what they want.
Yes,
and that's from Zig. So that exactly, or at least sounds like exactly to me along the lines of what you were talking about in what you thought.
Yeah.
So,
and at the same time with that, I would have also learnt the art of delegating, because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to some things, and I want to hang on to it thinking that I can do it all, where I really would have liked to have branched out and focused right on what I was, honing in on, and then let other people take care of the marketing part or the accounting part or whatever it was that I was, using up my precious time towards that I wasn't efficient or good at. I would have done that as well, for sure.
Excellent. Super, super. Really appreciate all that. I mean, I love that. It's super insightful. And thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Going to wrap up now. Is there anything that you would like to end with? Any offer or benefit? Anything that you can offer to the listeners that might
Yeah,
bring value
for
to
sure.
them?
Look, everything that I have that I would love to offer is for free. And I don't do that because I don't want to, gain financially. I do it because this is something I've been sharing for a little while. What
Okay.
I noticed with the gym is that people struggled, didn't take too long to realize that people struggle with Mondays. Right? So, and that most people struggle with Mondays regardless, people struggle with Mondays.
It's Monday. Okay.
What I've been doing for the last 3 years, I've sent out over 40,000 texts to people. I have a free motivational text from me. So if you
Oh.
respond, I will reply. But at the same time, it is something that's a pick me up from me to you to let you know, hey, this is Monday, it's a new week, whatever the message is for the day, and a quote or some sort of picture. If you want that, then you can just text me. Text me at 385-244-4733. So it's 385-244-4733. If you text me, let me know what your name is and your birthday, if it's just the month and the day. I'll also remember you on your birthday. I think it's important that we recognize each other, that we pick each other up on a Monday and make sure that we are celebrating and also motivating people for that week. I've also got a link that if you fill out the quick form, if you ever do send the link out to them, it's a quick form that just has my book called Say, See, Do. A lot of the things that we say goes one ear out the other, right? A lot of the things we see, we tend to believe a little bit more because seeing is believing. You've heard that saying. But when we do it is when we anchor it in, right? When we actually experience it or do it, we anchor it in. So it's called Say, See, Do. It's a book on motivation, how to help you live a better life. Along with that, there is a link towards creating your individual mission statement, creating a life of purpose. This link is a free link that is not mine. It's done by the Nightingale program. And Nightingale has a link where you can create your individual mission statement, which is for you and your purpose for what you want to do in your life. So all those things are free. If you want to fill out the form, it's on that link. Just ask you a couple of quick questions, and then I can get you that book. It's a digital book. I can get you texts on Mondays, and then you can fill out that purpose for your individual mission statement.
Okay. I'll make sure that all that is in the show notes below or wherever we post this, so people can get there easily. Thanks again. Really appreciate your time and everything that you shared. Appreciate everybody listening in. Have a safe and productive week and be the very best at whatever you are. Until next time, this is Tad Stevens, Micro Success Secrets. Have a great day. Bye.